Yo, yo, yo.
Yo, yo, yo.
How are we doing, Moses?
Um, all right. So there's a few things on my mind. I want to say, first of all, I'm good, I'm well, but at the same time, thinking about the topic we are about to discuss is serious within the matter, isn't it? How are you?
Of course. Of course it is. Of course, as we are the Multicast and we
Mm,
mainly talk about combat sports, life lessons and stuff. But of course, today we'll be talking about quite a tough topic, obviously. Just obviously the recent acts, obviously, seeing things from a woman's perspective, especially in today's
yeah.
world and obviously the unfortunate
And a
events that
man's
has
perspective
arisen
too,
last
man.
week.
Mm. And a
So, of
man's
course,
perspective
yes,
too.
animals perspective. That is very well done, Moses. That is very correct, honestly.
So, yeah,
This
so
is a touchy
everyone who's
subject.
listening and who comes to listen, welcome to the Multicast with myself, the native, Mr. Aaron Dove, and Real Kick MMA will be joining us. So yeah, we want to do this right. We don't want to disrespect anyone in any way, shape, or form. So please, if you feel you have something to share, please join us, and please feel free to hit that speech button so you can share your thoughts and progress, so we can
Of
be
course,
educated and more open-minded towards such a situation. But we already feel this heavy struggle for our women within the community, whatever community they reside in and such. And yeah, we're gonna do this right. So Aaron, you want to kick it off? Lead
so
this party, brother.
yes, of course. Thank you very much, Moses. In this day and age, obviously, it's very. I mean, it's so hard to see it from. I mean, I come from a family full of girls. You see, so
Mm,
I do have a very feminine side to me. But the problem is, obviously, as much as I think I can relate to girls, and I do have a lot of female friends. I will give you that because again, have grown up with girls. I can relate to them. I know how they feel and stuff. Okay, I don't know exactly how they feel because I'm not a girl, but the point is, I've grown up around them. But at the end of the day, I've grown up around them as a boy, as a man. So I
mm,
can never truly see things from their perspective. So it's just like they leaving the house now. I mean, you can't blame girls now, honestly. Like, it's just a
mm,
dangerous world out there, and it shouldn't be the case of, I'm too scared to leave. And I'll be honest with you, bro.
mm,
I mean, for years I've always thought this, and I'm happy to share this, but maybe it is paranoid, but it's just like obviously I live with my mum and my sister, and every day they leave, and they don't know this. I mean, to an extent, I think my mum does, but I always think the worst. Oh, man, again, I'm getting a bit touchy here, but I just always think the worst. It's just like I always think, I want to watch them leave. Like I look out the window and stuff like that. I shouldn't really
mm.
be thinking about that, man. Just worried about
You
them
shouldn't have to.
24/7. If I were to leave,
Yeah.
if I went to another country, I'm worried. Even when I go work, like I speak to myself, oh, mum's on their own all day and stuff like that, and
Mm,
I've always, I don't know, it's just me just being overprotective with my family, but then I don't really have the same sort of feelings to my dad, and I know I'm not super close to my dad. Like, I mean, he's always been with me my whole life. It's just the relationship me and my dad had. But, I just
yeah.
feel like that sort of thing. I'm just scared with them almost. Again, that's more
Mm,
me than society, but society does play a big part. There's some
mhm.
I will say evil people out there. I never believed people could be truly evil, but it's just some people have different intent. I think that's a nicer way to word it.
Yeah, some people choose to follow evil actions rather than being strong and courageous and do what's right, you know? Morally speaking, my perspective, I hear what you're saying, and listen, I'm not a person who bases their reality on paranoia and such, and I knowing you,
Good
I
on
know
you.
you're a person who doesn't either, but we see how the society goes. Well, not society in general, but certain communities, they have a higher rate of rape and murder and just immoral acts, and seeing such things, knowing even if you didn't have female in the family, right? Even if you're a person of respect and honor, you just those things, it's just they hit you high, they wear a heavy tone, and you can't help but be a bit spectacle, and skeptical about the community around us. You know, we have to do our bit though to
Yeah, we
try
do.
and flourish and clean the community. You know, the society, whether it's picking up trash, whether it's just cleaning our own community in
100%.
many ways. You know, the change and charity starts at
100%.
home, and to see that women, not even just women, even men in certain communities can't even walk safe in their own communities in their own neighborhoods. It riddles the mind. It doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? It's just what you just you're going about your day one day and you can just get attacked on the street. Now it's not everywhere, but to see that
It
happening, you know,
happens. That's the thing.
it's something that needs to be mentioned, especially from a man's point of view. We need to come together as a community. This isn't about gender now. It's about us all
Men
uniting
and
as one
women
to
come together. Exactly.
exactly. We need to protect each other, not just for the men, not just for the women, but the children of the future. You know what I mean? The children of the present, and they always will be. There will always be children growing up in these communities, and if we can't band together to help each other, and we want to blame genders, then we're just
Exactly. That's
destroying
the
each other.
problem.
You know what I mean? It's a bigger perspective than just genders. It's about protecting each other. It's about serving the righteous tone. You know what I mean? But we got a few
Could not
messages,
agree
so
more.
Aaron, if you want to hit the button, man, let's go.
Yep, sure. Let's hear it.
Just want to shout you guys out. I went through a lot of channels before this one, and you guys are the only one talking about this subject right now, which is kind of crazy to me because this should be the forefront, especially what happened yesterday with the 8 women slain in Georgia. But yeah, thank you for having this brought to the platform and spotlighted, highlighted, and being talked about.
100%. I agree with that. I'm actually
Respect, Vibe Rock.
disappointed, actually, that fact that no one else is even talking about this topic. Honestly, I again, this is a topic I really, really wanted to talk about. As I said, with our podcast, we are very we talk about combat sport, we talk about life lessons, generic talks in general, and this was a very important topic we all wish to discuss and think that everyone should be a part of. Again, it's being together, not genders against genders, as Moses just said. It's a time to unite, and I think rather than just sort of, I think the problem is everyone's saying obviously men need to do their part, and then men say, "Oh, we are doing our part." We need to deal with the issue rather than talk about it. It's same with the
Mm,
BLM, Black Lives Matters, obviously, and of course what's happened before. We can all talk about it on social media and say, men need to play the part, or it's men and women and this, but we need to deal. There's a difference between talking about something and doing something, because again,
righteous,
and
righteous.
sadly, I think this is going to happen, just like with BLM. We'll talk about this, and it's very, as you know, up in the air, my friend, and everything. But unfortunately, in about, I'll give you 4.5 months to 6 months time, it will still be remembered, but to the stage where it was just almost like a trend. I dare say it, yes. And unfortunately, it will be a trend, because you've noticed in all your newsfeed, this stuff has been happening for ages, my friend. When I mean ages,
Mm.
I can't even say years, decades. It's crazy. This
Centuries,
has
man.
happened for centuries. Thank you, my friend. So it's been happening for a very long time. So it's not like it's been brought up to light, but everyone now has the feel to be sharing this every single day. It's great that people are aware of it, but they're aware of something that has
Mm.
been going on for centuries. And unfortunately, and this will happen, which I don't like, in about half year's time, we will probably, I say, go back to normal. More people be
Nah,
aware of the
we can't.
situation, but the situation will not be dealt. That's the problem.
I just need to say, respect Vibe Rock for tuning in. Thank you for sharing your opinion and bonding with this
Thank
community.
you
You know what
very
I mean?
much.
Sharing a like mind. Because at the end of the day, yeah, as Aaron was saying, it's been going on for decades, centuries. You know what I mean? I don't understand how we can put women down when women has given life to man themselves. You know what I mean? We call this Mother Nature for a reason. The woman gives, the woman
Exactly.
gives.
One
You know what I mean?
hundred percent, my friend.
And to think for centuries women have been put down for what? What? Because I believe that it takes a weak man to put someone down, but it takes a strong, courageous being to lift someone up. You know what I mean? Even if they're feeling in a time of weakness. So we need to talk about this, and it cannot go back to normal. We cannot turn our eye on this. We cannot turn away from this. We need to be enlightened to the situation to the fellow beings who are being mistreated, whether they're whatever creed, color, gender, you know what I mean, religion, whatever aspect they come from. If they share a moral tone of, to be one of community and unite the people, then why are we not doing that as our own, as uniting each other? You know what I mean? Why should some idealistic stop us when everyone is trying to band together? So we need to do this, and I think, yeah, I think this needs to be said. It needs to be heard. It needs to be heard from women's perspective. So we need to band together as a community, and we need to listen in. So um, I didn't really post anything off social media when it came to thoughts because I knew we would do this, and I need to speak this in a tone, and I need to hear what people have to say. So we have a few more messages. Aaron, you know what to do, brother.
Of course, my friend.
I don't know, man. To be honest,
Nemo.
what's brought all this on? I think if you look at the crime statistics, we live in an incredibly safe country. And, a one-off crime, no matter how abhorrent it is, it doesn't mean that we live in an unsafe place. But yeah, I don't know, man. I hope you guys are having a good day, and I look forward to hearing your podcast.
Just a thought on that. Sorry, Moses. Do you mind if I take a note on that? So, I'll tell you one thing why it's blown up is because a police officer was involved, and anything to do with the police, let's be honest, will go on the news. The fact, an officer, who's meant to protect and serve, ends up doing this. Of course, that will catch the spotlight in the news. And in terms of, saying we live in a safe country, I'm not going to agree with you there because nowhere, in my opinion, where you live, everywhere has its good and its bad. And you just have to understand in life that when there is good, there is bad. There is never good and there is never just bad. There is both. For example, I come from an area called Coulsdon, which is in Croydon. Croydon hasn't got the best reputation of area. However, Coulsdon does. It's one of the so-called nicer parts of Croydon. And I've lived in Coulsdon for the last 14 years, and people always say, "Oh, it's nice down there and stuff." However, since I lived in Coulsdon, the first week I moved to Coulsdon, my garage got burnt down. Within the first month, my sister's car got glass smashed. The rear windscreen got smashed in, and about half a year in or so, my front my front window got smashed in by a bottle. And there's actually been numerous vandalism acts happening in Coulsdon, which is, if you look it up, is a very small village and a nice area as people would describe it. However, an area called Thornton Heath in London, which is known notoriously for gangs and obviously disruption and stuff. And I've known people that's lived there their whole life that have never had any of the stuff I've had. So you really nowhere, I'd say everywhere has its good and bad. And there has been cases with women, obviously, on their way home, getting, assaulted by men. Like I said, in terms of, it doesn't necessarily mean death. Like, a lot of women do get attacked, but obviously not many of the times they get killed. Luckily enough, they, come back, to their family, their homes. So obviously they are scarred for life. And in that impact, a lot of these women don't speak up. As you said, we live in a safe street, but how many of these women have been attacked but just chose to keep this to themselves? And I do know women in person that have gone through this stuff and chose not to go for the police. And that's my take on that for now. Sorry, Moses, do you have anything to add to that?
No need to apologize. Thank you for sharing. Nemo, thank you for tuning in and sharing your opinion. I will say I disagree to a certain substantial point of being, yes, we may live in a certain safe country because we have a lot of CCTV and such, but really, I don't believe it's safe. I don't believe anywhere is truly safe until the community is corrected in certain perspective of being morally uprise. We need. The thing is, you want to say we live in a safe country, but as a community, how are we? Do we say hello to our neighbors? Do we get to know our neighbors? Do we really know the community we're living in? Do you know the person living next door? Do you know the person living around the corner? What I'm saying in here, my mother grew up in London, and I haven't shared this with much people, but my mom told me when she was younger and she was coming from school in London, she was chased through the park by a group of skinheads. who chased her, shouted horrible things towards her, you know, because she's black, and she just didn't really feel safe, you know. And my mom's a person who always tries to speak from a positive aspect, you know what I mean? She rather lift someone up than bring them down. She's been through a life where people have just brought her down, you know what I mean? And in all fairness to my mom, she's shine through it, and I respect her for that, you know what I mean? Among many other things, she's a life bearer of three. Um, but I know plenty of women in the country, well, the city I grew up in, which is Swansea, who were roofied. I guess you could say roofied, or they were spiked, as we call it,
Yeah.
on their nights out. They were even with friends. Some of them were even spiked by their own friends because they wouldn't drink. Now that's very strange for me. They were spiked by women when they were meant to be safe in this group. They never hung around with the women again. But to hear such stories where women would get spiked and they'd be in such states. I remember when I was younger, I had to take care of some female friends because they just drank too much, and some people were hanging around and they just didn't feel safe. And I felt like somewhat of a security guard when I was meant to be enjoying my party, you know what I mean? But in all fairness, if I can do a service to look after a friend, I always will, and I always have. Because in all fairness, that's how I believe a community is. It's not me having if I'm having fun at the expense of someone else's safety, then I'm not having fun. You know what I mean? What kind of fun is that? So when you say we live in a safe community, we live in a safe country. We live in a first world country, maybe, yeah, but safe to what? To what pedigree? You know what I mean? Even the higher ups are still not safe. Even the lowest of the lows are not safe when you want to talk about classism. But we're talking about a general perspective. If it's a safe country, why did that Sarah lady, God rest her soul, why did she get snatched up off of the street when she was just minding her own business by an officer of the law, mind you? So that's a question I want to ask. Why do many women have to travel in groups? Why do women have to go to the bathroom with friends? I know we see that as a thing of, oh, just girls going to the bathroom, but maybe it's out of safety. Um, if you don't agree, then maybe just if you have a group of female friends, maybe ask around. You know what I mean? Get a general perspective. But even I spoke to my wife about this because I wanted to do this right, before I did this. And I spoke to my mother-in-law, my sister-in-law, and they all said the same. They don't feel safe, especially at night. They don't even feel safe in taxis some of the times because they have taxi drivers always asking if they have boyfriends and such. My wife had
Yes.
to lie on a couple
100%.
of couple of occasions saying that she's going to her boyfriend's. You know what I mean? She had to text friends saying that she's on her way home. So we may live in a safe country, but to a certain degree. And I know there's other places out there which is less safe, but there's other places out there which aren't classed as, in quotes, off quotes, say first world countries, which have a stronger community bond, and they don't have such rates as we do. I'm not even sure if they do have such rates. So just to answer that, I disagree, and I believe we could band together to be more of a united community. So let's go to the next message. If Aaron doesn't have anything to add
Can I
on to
add a
that,
quick note before we end this?
yes, please.
Just to
Go
leave
ahead, brother.
this the topic again. I don't know if you guys all know this. Some people do. That there was a woman that aided the officer in Sarah Everett's death. So a woman
Thank you
actually
for
got
bringing that to
arrested
light.
because she helped out, and we don't know
Mm,
how that woman played her part. She could have,
mm,
approached Sarah and said, hey, like, can you do me a favor or something? You know, we don't know. So again, this is why I say the community is not safe. Again,
mm,
the girl walks down the street and obviously sees a man. They do get suspicious and scared. But if they saw another fellow lady walking down the street and she said something like, "Oh, I'm scared," for example, of course she'd help her.
mm,
And then I don't know what part this woman played, but the fact that a woman played the part in her death, that just goes to show you that we're truly not so. Sorry, that's all I wanted to
mm.
share. I'll hit you
All right,
next.
Aaron, hold up, Aaron. Before you do
Hello.
so, I also want to add a fact. I went to school with this girl, God rest her soul, because she was killed by her stepfather. Now, I think her
Oh my
stepfather
gosh.
was on some substances, but she was my age. She was the age of 24 actually, 24 years old. And she was killed by her
Sorry to hear.
stepfather. Now, yeah, so am I. You know what I mean? She was a nice girl in school. She was always respectful and such. But to hear something like that, are we really in a safe country? I mean, anything can happen within doors, and You know what I mean? It's just nah. There's something that needs to be done. You know, this talk needs to be had. This we need to listen. We need to hear more from the female perspective also. So let's go to the next message. Thank you.
And I agree with you guys as far as when you were guys talking about you know, not categorizing by gender. That's the thing about the separation of people, or just in general. We categorize or we label,
Mm,
certain things that separate us, while all the while, the whole entire time, we forget that we are all human beings, that we can
righteous, man.
all agree to
Righteous.
say that. And if we are
Respect,
all
Bible.
human beings, we should all have compassion for another human being that is being harmed
Amen.
in such a way. But all of these labels that separate us, that's what builds the divide. And I think if people just realize and get back to the meat and potatoes of like, oh, I'm not man, woman, child. Oh, I'm a human being.
Mm.
Things will start to progress.
Respect to that, Bible. Human being, be
Respect.
human first, right?
Respect.
Yeah,
I
man.
agree with that 100%. And we just remember that we are human beings at the end of the day. That is what
Mm.
we are. We are all one. Again,
Amen.
that's part of multicast as well, that we believe we are all one. We don't see race in the way, we don't see genders. We're all one together. We unite together, and I completely agree with that. And I think, honestly, you're right. I think if more people thought that way, would look out for each other more, honestly, rather than have
Mm.
this, separation. And at the end of the day, he's a boy. At the end of the day, she's a girl. I am very. It's a bit off topic, but I have a lot. Again, I have a lot of female friends, and some people find that guys actually find that a bit weird. That I have a lot of female friends. It's like, why is that weird? Like, good friends. I mean, not that they weren't like an ex. They weren't like we had history. I've actually had legit, you know, girls that are friends, but not girlfriends. This is where I'm coming from. And some people
Yeah, yeah.
find that
Truth.
weird, like even some girls find that weird. They get the impression that maybe, oh, this guy's definitely a player. He's got his friends with so many girls and stuff like that. But I just see people as people. It's the truth. I tell you how it is.
Mm.
Like
Truth, man.
you know, I just
If
yeah, I see
if they
people as
send a good
people.
vibe, then vibe with them. You know what I mean? Collaborate as
Exactly,
one. It doesn't matter about the genders, as long as you're saying positive notions. Even if it comes to a negative notion, as long as you can be there to be positive and build them up and unite as one. Why do we have to title each other as, oh, you're black, you're white, you're mixed,
exactly.
you're a girl, you're a boy? We need to look past that, beyond that, and just see each and other as someone of potential. You know what I mean? We're all one of potential. So it's, thank you, Vibe Rock, for sharing that, man. Respect to that, and thank you for everyone tuning in, listening. I hope you're getting some good vibrations from this, and I hope you're getting something from this that you feel like you can share and build upon. So, Aaron, what do you think? What do you think? We got a few messages,
Like I
so
said,
if you want
it's. I mean, actually, I'm ready to hit the next message. I don't know about you, Mo, or should we go to the next
I'm
message?
I'm ready.
All right, let's go.
Sure, the statistics could say whatever. It's a low crime rate, or and inform you of what those numbers are, but that doesn't entail or even start to even give context to as to why things happen for the reasons that they happen. Numbers are going to be numbers, and we get desensitized by numbers because we don't usually equate that to a person. But if you equate that to a person, you would have, not saying that that person didn't have compassion, but you'd have a better understanding, and rather than look at the numbers, look at the reason why is the things happen the way they do.
Right, right. It's all about better situations, right? So,
That's
Aaron,
very interesting. Yes.
when you've been with this group of females, and have you ever been to a club with them where you've seen someone lurking around that you just feel unsafe and you feel like you have to be on guard, you have to be the guardian in
Oh,
some
many
sense, you
times,
know?
many
Right?
times, and many times. And this is the thing about how girls have their perspective from men. So, like again, the title of this video from a woman's perspective. I can understand. Like I said, I've grown up from family of girls. I can understand why girls view men a certain way. You understand? Like I've gone out on nights out where I'm almost the only dude, and because I'm with a group of girls, you'd always find one dude that come dancing. And as guys, as fellow guys, we on a nightclub, we can approach a guy. Let's be honest here. It is much easier to approach a dude than to approach a girl. So in any form of conversation, whether can I have a cigarette, can I buy you a drink? Hey, how are you? End of the day, your gender. You always communicate easier with your gender because on a night out, you might approach a girl. That girl might get the impression that you're trying to move to them or something. So I've done this many times on the night out. I might be dancing, with the girls, and then this dude will start dancing close. Then he'll start talking to me, because it's a fellow brother, a boy, he'd be like, oh, what's up, mate? As I am, like I said, I'm friends with anyone. There's no reason to hate anyone. And then you'd always know the intent. I know the intent was straight away, but I give them a clean say. I give them a chance. About, 5 minutes of dancing and stuff, they might say, oh, is that your girl? Out of the one girl, they might say, oh, is that your girl or whatever? I'm like, nah, not even. Oh, and they might say, like, oh, you moving to her or something like that. Like, I'm like, no, she's my friend. Oh, okay, cool. But I'm like, yeah, she's got a boyfriend, though. And so it's like, oh, okay, that sort of thing. And then, obviously, in about a minute or two later, obviously, that guy goes. You see where I'm coming from? So, like, girls, obviously, are aware of this. That's why sometimes when you approach a girl, like I said, I approach a girl as, as a human, not that, not as just a female, because it's a girl, I've got to get with her. So that's why sometimes some girls, when I talk to them, I'm just talking to the normal, where they sort of got that sort of defense mechanism on just to see, this guy legit. Like, you can't blame them. You know what I mean? For, they don't know who I am. People who do know me, they know me as Aaron. I mean, I wouldn't hurt a fly. I mean, yes, I'm a fighter, and the ring's a different story, but like, I wouldn't hurt a fly out, outside the ring and stuff. So, it's just they don't know.
Have a good time, innit?
I
remember. Yeah, I remember being at the club sometimes, just hanging out with friends, and some female friends had to even ask me, to pretend to be their boyfriend, just to get this guy who's just been bothering them all night, who won't take, no, or leave me alone for an answer. And I understand. Some people, they like to be straightforward. They just, they're persistent. But when someone says no, thank you, or someone is not interested, then don't take it personal. Listen to what the person is saying, receive it, and just go your own way. You know what I mean? We're all in there for different reasons. Some people just want to relax and have a good time. You know what I mean? They probably had a stressful week and they just want to enjoy, relax, be safe in their own environment, in their own neighborhood, whether it is or is not their own neighborhood. But at the end of the day, why should they feel unsafe? Whether they're men or women, you know what I mean? So yeah, let's go to the next messages.
I was just going to say, we've got loads of messages, but I want to add a quick point to that. It's like, again, seeing things from a girl's perspective. You see how you say guys don't get the hint. So, as you know, many guys would like, they say
some girls don't get the hint too,
Yeah, guys might whistle a girl on the street, or they might drive past and go, "Oh, hello, beautiful," and stuff like that. And obviously, girls hate that. So, from guys' perspective, like some of my friends say, "Oh, I don't understand why girls hate."
I never find it respectful.
They're just like, we're just like, oh, we're just giving them a compliment. Why do they hate it? But then again, back to the title, from a woman's perspective, you don't know how many times that's happened to that woman. You don't know what she's been through. She might have had a scenario where someone did call her up or whistle her, and then obviously ended up in a bad situation. Again, you have to see it from a girl's perspective. From a guy's perspective, they just see, oh, he's, complimenting a woman how beautiful she is. That's all he sees it as. But
sorry to interrupt, but personally, I find it disrespectful. I mean, for me, I don't run on comments. I don't run on word affirmation. So when someone tried to compliment me when they don't know me as a being, I brush it off. You know what I mean? It's just like, get to know me first before you compliment me on my accomplishments. You know what I mean? But to wolf whistle or dog whistle or whatever it's called, or holler at someone from a car, I find it's disrespectful. It's very lack of trying. I mean, do you really think that person needs your compliment? And if it is
Yeah.
so, do it in a more respectful tone. You know what I mean? But
Not a respectful
yeah,
way
let's
of
go to the
communicating.
next messages anyway. Let's hear what the people have to say.
I think he's going to do it again.
Okay, let's go.
Well, I can see you talking.
Hey,
Chris.
my
I can see
beautiful
you talking
wife.
about women, and you don't have a
Laras,
lot of
madam,
women
my love.
messaging you into asking, or in general telling their perspective. So, what
That's
I
my
think is,
wife.
for women, they're scared to
True
walk
story.
down the street and
Mm.
be alone at night time, or get home with some kind of stranger in a taxi, because it's been kind of like programmed in us, because since the beginning of ages, women been the ones who've been attacked, and before in old times it used to be kind of normal, you know, for women get raped after wars and taken over villages, because you know, all that hormones after. Oh shit, this has time limit. Okay, wait, let me just send it quickly. What do you think? Has it been,
My love.
is it better now or worse for women? And can women,
Can I just add a quick note to that? I'll let you answer this, Moses. It seems more fitting. But
that's
did you
my
know?
wife.
Did you know? Only about 50 years ago, men were allowed to beat their wives.
Yeah, it was. See,
Crazy, right? That's
yeah,
really, in terms of life history, 50
it's
years is
ludicrous.
young. Yeah. I
Yeah,
just wanted to
it's
throw that out
ludicrous
there.
to think that in certain homes in Britain that it was looked upon to beat your wife if she did not please you, you know, please you in a certain manner. And it still goes on in certain communities to this day. So that is why we're doing this. We need to speak up, especially not just from a female's perspective, but from a man's perspective to know what's going on, to know I was raised from a woman. My father beat my mum, you know what I mean? I'll share that out there because we're all gonna get personal. This is something that's deep and it's enrooted in us and we need to kill it off. It's something. It's a weed we need to pluck out of the system because it's not a healthy one. We need to grow fruits of labor for the people to unite as one and be more enlightened. Why are we hurting each other? What is the positive progression in this? So yeah, let's get to the next message because I know my wife got something to say. She always got something to say, and I love it because you know what I mean. She speaks some truth. The wisdom from her speaks through me. So let's go.
Okay, sorry, another one. I don't know if I said the correct. Okay, wait.
Oh, my love.
Okay, sorry. I think I have a limit on this, but maybe I don't. Either way, it's my first time using it, and I want to finish it. My question is, do you think the world is getting better? Ugh.
Okay,
Well, if
so
the world's
first
getting
of all,
better.
welcome to the Multicast. Welcome to Stereo, my love. I'll speak to you soon. Yeah, I believe the world is getting better because people are enlightened about it. You know, we have social media. Everyone has a voice. Everyone has an opinion. So it's time to share. We got to communicate with each other. We got to unite with each other, and for everyone to speak their mind, we can see who is going right and wrong with this, or what we believe right and wrong, and we can share our opinions and we can cultivate together to try and build a better understanding and you know and just see where we're going wrong because at the end of the day we may be whatever age we are but we're never too old to learn, and that is what maturity is, maturing within your own faculties, maturing within your own failures. And I believe the world is getting better because as you were saying previously, generations ago, rape and pillage was a big thing with the Viking kingdom, maybe with the Crusade kingdom, I'm not sure, maybe even in African kingdom, even in the Asian kingdom, around the world it was a thing, you know what I mean? And men would use that upon themselves. These certain groups wouldn't allow females in their armies. And I know the Vikings did have shield maidens. That's what the female warriors were called, shield maidens. But at the end of the day, to know that happened and people, you know, use that as a normality, it's come a long way since that. And I believe it's hereditary. It's been passed down, but we're killing it off. We're not killing it off, but we're educating each other. We're educating ourselves to see that that is not a civilized manner. That is not an educated manner. That is not the type of society we should be living in. Aaron, do you want to add anything on to that before we go to the next message? Because I see we have a good
Yeah,
several.
we have loads of messages, but I'm going to try and keep this short and sweet because I'm going to have to somewhat I'm not agreeing, but I'm not disagreeing. So I believe in the
Short
word
and sweet
balance.
reminds me of my wife.
Short and sweet, yes. So I believe in the word balance. As I said, where there is good, there is bad.
Righteous.
Do I believe the words in
Like
the
Taoism.
bad place? I believe the word. My first thought, I thought no, but then I realized we are actually in a better place. So where the bad has happened, it's gotten good. Vice versa, where the good was before, it's gotten bad. So certain things have gotten better and certain things have gotten a lot worse. So I agree with everything you said, Moses, and how the world's better. How, women used to get raped, a lot more back then than they do now. I think in that terms of perspective, yes, I agree. But in terms of the world in general, like I think in terms of society, how we look at things and overlook each other, I think it has gotten a bit more toxic. I think we forget life itself. We're so dependent on, other people, toxic. Like I said, in this, trend of, men should do this, girls should do this, almost turning against each other through social media influence. I think there is a bit of toxicity there. So, like I said, it's a balance. The world itself, it's just a mutual. Where it gets better, certain areas get worse. And of course, I'd like to keep that short and sweet.
Before we go to the next message, I just want to shout out to Double Trouble, my beautiful wife, Katrina. Thank you for the ginger tea. It is very settling in this time. So, yeah, let's go to the next message.
I'm same like you, man. I have a hella homegirls that are just legitly homegirls. They're like,
Bye,
damn near
bro. What's
like
up,
I
brother?
call them sis. You know what I mean? And none of it is like on some, you know, romantic energy or whatever. It's just like if you're a cool person, don't give a fuck
Thank you.
who you are,
That's
what
it, innit?
That's
gender,
what I'm
color,
saying,
whatever.
man.
If you're
You know
cool
what I
and
mean?
you're not doing evil
Cause
shit
we
and you're
vibing.
Know what
a
I
good
mean?
person, then you're a
Trust
good
me.
person in my book. And that's the thing. It's like
Thank
people
you, my
will
friend.
see and have these preconceived notions of like, oh, you roll with hella girls. It's either you're a homosexual or you're a
Hate it.
player, and the fact that you can't even, those were the first two things that most people would think rather than, oh, he's just friends with a bunch of girls that are friends with him.
Mm. Aaron, I'm gonna take this one for a moment. Pardon me for parting in.
By all means,
Thank you,
I'll let you.
Byron, for keeping with us and sharing your positive notions and respectful mindset. I want to say, yeah, I the thing is, I used to work security, right? And when I worked security, I at the end of the
Oh boy.
shifts or before the shifts, they used to hang out in groups and talk about who they were shagging or who they were fucking and talk so disrespectfully and derogatory about these women as if they weren't human beings, you know? And I just wouldn't stand there to take it. I just leave. And they think of me as like not part of the gang, and you know, I wouldn't get invited to work dues and all that. But I was cool with that. You know why? Because I had my my principalities. You know, I have my principles. I have my respect. I have my retrospect. If the person's cool, I'm vibing. Even if a person's not cool, I'll share my opinion. Then I'll move on. If someone doesn't like it, that's cool. But I'm not gonna choose to choose to talk to you a certain manner of tone just because you're a certain gender or you're certain you look a certain way or you know you follow a certain idealistic. It's about just being you and just connecting. It's about living life, as Aaron said. So, yeah, Aaron, if you have something to add, go ahead, bro.
Yeah, I will actually. I was gonna let you have this one, but I'll add something too. I'll be a bit open here. Like I said, it's a very deep subject, and I'll be honest with you. Over the years, as you know, lads, like you said, they do talk about girls like that. I'll be honest.
Mm.
Get personal. I haven't slept with a huge number of girls and stuff like that, but I'll be honest. It's the case of when lads talk about girls, the girls they got with and stuff like that. In the past, they'll talk to them stuff like, oh yeah, got with a girl here and that. And I'll be honest with you, I used to hate talking about that stuff, and I've always,
I know.
even since a
So
kid, when
uncomfortable.
kids talk about girls, I just to this day, actually, I just don't talk about sex. Like, it's just something will never, like, I'll never, it's just me. I just, you know what I mean? Like, it's just
It's
one
a
of those things I
private,
just
intimate
don't
action
talk
that's
about.
to
Yeah.
be kept
And,
between those two people in a respective
but it's
manner.
not, though. That's the thing. People don't see it that. People just see it as a casual thing to talk about. I don't know. It's just me. I don't know. I feel like it's just me. I just don't really talk about it. Like, you know what I mean? And a lot of people do, and some people they have to talk about it, and then they even talk about what they did with their girlfriend the night before and stuff like that. I'm just like, I mean, the fact you're already telling me that you've done it the night before, fair enough, but you don't have to go in detail. I don't know. That's just
It's
me.
like,
man.
where's the respect for your other half? You know what I mean?
That's just me,
I'm
man.
happy.
I really wanted to throw that out there.
Yeah, see, I was always comfortable talking about the loving bond, you know, how it was made
You
to
can
feel and
talk
how
about it by all means, but like,
but the sexual action is private, you know what I mean? I mean, if some people want to talk about it, go ahead. But for me personally, I like to keep it private because that's a sacred bond between me and that person that I'm committing that act with, you know what I mean? I'm involving myself in that beautiful notion, but my past, I was a bit of an ignorant fool. You know, I grew up in a community where I hung around with a group of boys who just didn't respect females as they did their male friends. And for me, that was very strange to be around, you know, but I felt I was easily led because I just wanted to feel a part of something, you know. And I was always an outcast in that manner. And I just realized that that's just not my forte. That's not how I like to portray myself because that is not me, you know. You know what I mean? I don't wish to speak on other people's business in a derogatory manner, or even if it's in a manner of like some people do when they talk about sex with their friends. But really, it's just if I'm going to talk about something, how someone made me feel or what I did with someone, it's going to be in a loving notion where someone can relate more in a way of we share this bond and it goes this way because we respect each other in a mutual balance. As you were talking about balance, why do I need to include someone in my private life? You wasn't there, so
Exactly.
you wasn't there for a reason because it's private, and I don't need to share it amongst people. If people want sexual advice of like, you know, how I don't know how to get into this, but really, if they want advice in a certain way, I don't need to talk about the actions that was delivered with a certain someone or something. I can give them advice
Exactly.
if it's like a sex ed talk, but it's like think about it. Would you talk to your brethren like that? Would you talk to your kin like that? You know what I mean? You got to think about it in that retrospect. But
Exactly.
let's go to the messages, Aaron. Thank you for
I was
sharing.
just
But
gonna say a quick
by Rob,
note on that. What was I going to say? An important note on that, but yeah, it's just
you got it.
actually, you know what? It slipped out of my head now. I'll go to the next message.
It'll come. It'll come. It'll come.
Either way, I'm sorry for the first message. I don't know, first time using this. So I just wanted to say this. Do you think
Double
women
bubble, baby.
will ever get rid of that like program thing into us that we had since the beginning of ages to be cautious and be a little bit scared and
I hope so.
Did she continue?
I hope it will be a race. Yeah, we'll continue, but I hope that one day we'll come to this enlightenment where you know no one has to be afraid, no one has to be pre-programmed or feel that they're being controlled from a certain perspective where they have to act a certain way or look a certain way or behave a certain way just because someone or the majority think it's normal. You know what I mean? For me personally, I love it when my wife doesn't wear makeup. She enjoys wearing makeup
I agree.
just because
I'm
it is
going
an
to wear
art, you know.
makeup.
Makeup is a certain
Yeah.
art. But personally, you're beautiful within. You're beautiful. That beauty
Thank you.
shines through you. You know what I mean? And truly,
Girls need to realize
I just
that.
love to
There you
see your
go.
face, how it looks in the natural. And now I appreciate my wife for all she does, and thank you for joining us, my love. Yeah, I hope it gets corrected. I hope everything can become more normal in a system where people feel safe and people can connect with each other without having to be a bit skeptical of one another because of gender or creed, you know, any background or anything. We can all just unite as one, you know what I mean? So let's go to the next message. If Aaron, you don't have anything to add, if you do, please do.
We'll go to the next message, my friend.
All right, brother. I'm waiting on you to hit the button.
Oh, okay, I'll hit it.
right, sorry for you know, the last message is my first time using this program.
Don't be sorry, baby.
I'll
Yeah.
hit it again.
Sorry for the last message.
Don't be sorry.
Well,
We're glad to have you. Yeah.
Sorry for the last message that ended like that, but I thought I have a time limit. It's my first time using this app. But yeah,
Mm.
so yeah, I wanted to ask, do you think women will ever be, you know, not cautious of their surroundings and feel free and not scared? Because what I wanted to
I
say in
think
the
that
first
counts on
message that
the
it's
individual.
been since the beginning of time and we kind of programmed already to be scared, but the world is getting better. So I wanted to ask, do you think it's possible that a woman will feel fully safe and, you know, and they can grow up in a safe environment and not be scared to walk down the street? Do you think it's possible? Yeah. Thank you. I love your podcast, guys.
I do believe it's possible, and I hope so because me and my
Me
wife,
too.
we have 2 daughters together. Hopefully, more to come, and sons if it comes to. But I believe that growing these 2 beautiful angels, these 2 beautiful beings in our life, it puts into perspective more. You know what I mean? That I need to do my bit even more than I thought I did before. Right now, as in growing a community that's safe for not just women, but men too, for children also. Just to speak it, live it, believe it, you know what I mean? And to share it within the community. So, Aaron, what do you have to add to that, brother?
I mean, I agree with you. I think we can build a more safer world, and I think it will get safer. But
Mm.
unfortunately, my question is how much longer? Again, it's the case of there's
Now,
a difference between talking about a matter and dealing with the matter.
I would say I would add to that time. See, my belief is time existed before us and time will go on after us. So, a matter of time, I'm not going to focus on that because I believe in the present you can always do something better to change and affect your future, your present from the past. You know what I mean? So within a matter of time, it will happen, but we just got to pass it on to the future generations within the present. You know what I mean? We got to educate within certain things like this, certain platforms like this, whether it's on social media through a text, whether it's through spoken word on a show or podcast or anything on a stereo, on a radio. We need to stop. I believe that we need to stop playing these derogatory tunes, these derogatory sounds, which are just downcast women saying bad bitch with a booty and all this rubbish. When really hip hop started out of a love for a woman. When DJ Hurt created a party
Yeah,
and invited his
100.
friends, yeah, invited his friends around because his sister didn't have a birthday party, and he invited his sister. His sister was a teenager at the time, and it was in a respectful manner of family. DJ Hurt come from Jamaica, Jamaica, but Jamaica is a
Yay.
strong family orientated place, and in all
Aye.
fairness, when it comes to Jamaicans, my family, they don't like to say the N word. So, pardon me for saying it in the past, even if I do in the present sometimes. But I've been, as I say, pre-programmed to do music. It happens. But I believe that we need to change our circumstances for a better way of living. And in doing that, if you have love for yourself, you have love for a woman, a man, you have love for the children, you have love for the nature around you because you yourself are composed of nature. It doesn't matter what gender
Yeah.
you are. You come from a woman, you come from a man, and they come from women and men. So we, without the one, you don't create the other. You know what I mean? So what I'm saying is, I hope it changes, and I hope that we can band together to just try and create a more positive notion, whether it's in music, whether it's in social media, whether it's in television, wherever we see it, posters. We don't need to be posting half naked women saying this is the new beauty, when they're slimming down or wearing makeup. Beauty is whatever the eye beholds, beauty is whatever you believe and perceive. So when it comes to beauty, what do you see as beauty? What do you believe is beauty? Beauty is what comes within, right? What you project
Exactly.
onto the outside world. If you can project a positive notion to the outside world, then obviously it's going to lift them up. Hopefully, God bless it does. But Aaron, do you have anything to add? Because we have a few messages we have to get through, and
I already
I'm
added
enjoying
my
this
point
podcast.
on that.
I got to say,
So yeah,
respect.
I've added my point to the matter. So I'm gonna hit to the next message.
I just finished my ginger tea. Ooh, it's good.
Ooh.
Lord, let's go.
I'll hit it now. Yeah.
Yeah, I dig it, yo. The whole like having to low key play bodyguard when you go out to these functions. It's something that you wish you really don't have to do because it's like once you stop a potential let's just say threat, the grossness or the fucking nastiness of the continuation from the first stop and the relentlessness of that person to keep going, knowing already the energy is like, dude, she don't fuck with you at all. Let's leave it at that and keep it moving. You enjoy your time somewhere else in this place as we try to do the same. But it's the after being stopped and like, yo, man, she's not trying to have it, and then just it gets to the point where I got to multiple physical altercations just for the fact that they can't take a no.
Yep.
Scary, isn't it?
I think ego plays a huge factor there.
True.
You know, guys can't take a no and stuff like that. And again, it's almost like you said, Moses, how people, how men just talk about girls as if they're object. You know, the way they just talk about sex, almost like a competition, almost. So, like you said, they can't take no for an answer. It's like they take no. Oh, look, the boys are gonna look at me less, or they're gonna take the mick out of me. Oh, does this mean I can't pull girls? It almost as if they're insecure in themselves. Like, as you know, when like a guy might ask a girl out and say you're pretty or something. Oh, I'm not interested. And then they might turn around and be like, oh, you're butters anyways. You know what I mean? Like, it's that
what the blood is that, man?
Yeah, you know what I mean? It's that insecurity. Like, it's just that sort of factor where, maybe deep down that the guy generally liked the girl and she doesn't like him the same way. So in that way, he feels hurt. So he feels like to hurt her, but trying to make her feel as small as physically possible. You know what I mean? And they can't take that no for an answer. So they think by doing that they could change the answer, but they won't. You know what I mean? Ego plays a big part to that.
True. But also, Vibe Rock, thank you again for rocking with us, sharing a good vibe, man. That's true. Some people, you know what? I can't speak for other people, but personally, when someone shares their truth with me, I'm grateful in that manner, just because someone's being honest with me. You know, they respect me as a human being enough to just be honest with me, and that's what I can take and just learn from it. But I'm gonna share a bit of a not embarrassing, but it's a notion where it's just like, I feel like I'm maturing in a sense, but also becoming somewhat of an old man in a community, because from a society's perspective, because the song was on earlier, right, when I was in the car with my family, and it was, let's talk about sex, baby, let's talk about you and me. And my children were in the back, and I just felt I had to turn the song off. You know what I mean? It wasn't a second thought. It's just I did it. You know what I mean? It probably ruined the vibe, but for me, just to hear that, I'm just like, keep it private. Send that song to whoever you're trying to send to. But I don't want to hear that on the radio. I don't want to hear about how you want to talk about sex. For me, that's private. And I'm not trying to down the songs that do. You know what I mean? Some people get that notion. Like, listen, I love Marvin Gaye's song. You know what I mean? Sexual Healing. That's
Sexual Healing. That was literally in my head.
Yeah.
You
that. But that's like a love song. He's talking about making love, man. And for me, okay, it's probably because it's old school, but it just feels like there's more to it than just sexual. It's sensual healing he's talking about. You know what I mean? Coming home from work, you need your wife's loving, you need your lady's loving. You know what I mean? You need your family's loving. It's not just sexual in the sense of the action. It is. Marvin Gaye, rest in peace, brother. But let's go to the messages, Aaron.
All right,
let's go, bro.
The world is getting better for the simple fact that the ones that have been causing all this, or continuing all this hatred and racism, all this evil shit, those people are dying now because they're getting old and they're passing away, and there's the younger generation that are what's so dope about the younger generation, and I know a lot of people will give flack to the millennials or whatever, but what they have turned around is all this, all that racism, all that homophobia, all that shit is lame. You guys got you guys were fucking stupid, and they took her out, and they're all fucking accepting, and it's a beautiful thing. And now the world is gonna get more better because these kids are gonna grow up to teach their kids, and the more that this happens, the more that we can get rid of all that shit that was already in the past that we were trying to get rid of for the longest time.
Righteous. So Vibe Rock, once again, thank you. I'm gonna share a notion where you was talking about people, how homosexuality was so how can we say, so so played against. You know what I mean? People. I mean, homosexuals were killed in certain places. Even to this day, in certain parts of the world, they are just for being who they are. You know what I mean? And I believe that I was speaking to my wife about it a few days ago. How I'm glad that the pride community are around, and people can feel more safe within the community, because you think about it, like 50 years ago, when it was a praise to, well, not a praise, but it was looked upon to beat your wife at home if she didn't please your needs and
Not too
expectation.
long ago, when you think about it.
Not too long ago, man. 50 years ago. My mom's that age. You know what I mean?
In
She was
terms of the
round about that
world,
time.
that's young. You know what I mean? On this
Racism,
planet's movement, it's like,
homosexuality. You know what I mean? Just from being a woman, all of this was all perceived in a negative way. And it's nice to see how the world is coming on, and everyone can just be themselves within their own communities. And I know there's
yeah,
some people out there who are still lurking and don't respect that, but they are dying out. As Rock said, they're dying out, because you know what, the millenniums, the Generation X or Generation Z, whatever they want to call it, people are becoming more enlightened to it now, because we're sick of this rubbish. Why do
yeah,
we
we
need
are.
to live such? It's not living, is it? You're just killing off a system that just wishes to be free, and they're not sharing a negative notion within it. So why not let people just be them in their community? And if you can vibe with them, vibe with them. That's what we need to do. That's what we're trying to do as a multicast. We're trying to unite. It's one, man. Jeez. So Aaron, if you have anything to say, please share, brother.
What I was going to share, actually, just a point on the, obviously about not too long ago, how it was acceptable for men for beating up their partners. I saw something the other day, actually. It's a bit off topic. How how they're saying how women oh, I wish guys were like, guys today will be more like the guys from the 50s, where they're proper gentlemen. These were gentlemen back in the day, but these guys weren't gentlemen. These guys were gangsters. And like
Come on.
you said, who
Mm.
were allowed to beat up the women.
In
So
the
they're,
three-piece custom suits, where they get that money from? Drug smuggling,
yeah,
human
exactly.
trafficking. All right then.
So,
You
yeah,
want to be
then
like
you got
them?
to realize, yeah, it's not as much as, boys or so-called boys will be boys today and stuff. These new generation, millennials, oh, gosh, I can't say it properly. They programmed much better than what the old school values, or the old
Mm.
school men were like. They're made look like they and sound more mature, and polite.
Mm.
However, the culture or their views to girls, was horrible.
Yeah. Everyone wanted to be rock stars, didn't they? Like sex, drugs, rock and roll. When really, what
Exactly.
happened to the rock and rollers? They died out early, and they not. It's not funny, but they died out early either to drug overdoses, or because they had sexual committed diseases.
Yeah, exactly.
So, or a lot of them ended up depressed. So, is it really a good life you're living, or is it just a life that you're trying to hide yourself within? You know what I mean? That's what I want to say on that. It's the millennial, the new generation. They live. It seems like it's a blossoming flower into a more positive mindset. Get
Yeah, of
get your money, but also give your respect and get your respect. Building a better
course.
community. Let's go to the next messages, brother.
Cool. Let's just say that.
There's this bar that this MC, his name is Belly from Canada. He goes, "Hero villain is all perspective," and that's absolutely true. Good and evil don't exist without people giving it context. So,
Yes.
unfortunately, we will always live in a world where the people that we see are doing evil, in their minds, they're the heroes and we are the villains, and we can't tell them nothing because that's the truth that they live in. Fine.
Mm,
But when the pushback
juice.
comes to where it becomes violent, like words are going to be words, but well, I just won't say that because words have started wars and shit. But words
Mm,
have do have a lasting effect, but when it starts to take away people's lives, that's when it has to stop. That's where I think people could agree, like, yo, that's a no go. And that's the thing that we all have to try to mend within our fucking communities.
mm.
That was well said
Righteous,
about the hero's
righteous sweet.
perspective and the villain.
Mm, yeah, man.
I
Thank
really
you, Boy
agree with
Rock.
that. Yes, thank you again,
Aaron,
my
do you have
friend, for
anything
sharing.
to add? If not, I'll
But
go to
like
the
I
next
said,
message.
one thing I just wanted to add was just the heroes and the villains perspective. I completely agree with that. How the villains will see themselves as the heroes, and the heroes would obviously see the villains as the villains. You can't really win there. Everyone has their own matter of perspective. That's all I've got to say to that. I'm not going to go to the next message. What about you, Moses?
I'll go to the next message, but I'm vibing with that. Thank you, brother.
Let's hit it.
Well, that's the reason, because you had a small dick.
All right. Thanks for tuning in. Okay, we're not,
Right,
brother. We're not talking. We're not talking about any genital sizes here. We're talking about a true matter that needs to be spoken upon because the communities and people are not feeling safe. So, if you want to joke around, fair enough. But I don't think this is the place to do so. We're about the multicast. We want to give respect to the communities and the people within the communities, so they can actually understand what's going on. And thanks for joining us and thanks for listening, I guess. But we're not about joking when it comes to this because this is a serious matter and people's lives are at stakes here. You know what I mean? So let's go to the next message and thanks for tuning in.
That was well said.
Guys, I was wondering, what's your opinion on what women can do now to stop being such a easy targets and stop attracting that much attention of, I don't know, wrong men, I could say like that. And what men can do to feel to make a woman feel more safe in today's world.
Oh, that's a
That's a
strong one.
tricky one. Hey.
Mm.
Do you want to take it?
All right, I'll go ahead. I'll try and give what I can, but what women can do, I cannot speak on what women can do, but I'd like to see more women band together as a community, rather than like I've grown up where a lot of females like to, as we call it, bitch, or just be derogatory about each other, where how they look and what they're doing and such, rather than just try and I guess befriend that person and speak their beliefs and such. I mean, it doesn't always work like that. You're not going to walk up to someone and be like, "Yo, this is how it should be," because who are we to be so self-righteous and such?
Yeah.
But we could at least be more positive with it. And men, oh my lord, where do I get started?
Lord
Where
God.
do I get started? Well, we can educate ourselves. Hey, you know what? Forget it. Let's put it all into one. Genders aside, just everyone is human beings. As Rock said, human beings, right? Aaron,
100%.
myself, Wheel Kick MMA, yourself, my Double Trouble,
Well
beautiful
said.
bubble. We can band together to educate ourselves and educate the younger generation on morals, on a perspective of, do you believe, not telling them, but question them. What do you believe is right, and why do you believe this is right, and how would you feel if someone did this to you? You know what I mean? Like in the Bible, it says treat one another as you wish to be treated yourself, right? Or somewhere along that lines. But as I believe, it's all about education. It starts with oneself. So if a man wants to really attain a woman's love and a woman's how do I say attraction, then it doesn't work coming up on a woman and being like, "Yo, what's up, gorgeous? How you doing, baby? Because I just want to buy you a drink and get you into bed tonight." Now I know it doesn't exactly go like that. Well, some people are that brazen, I guess, and that straight up. But it's along those lines where it's just this. Some people are just thinking about sex, and some women just come up and do that. You know what I mean? But I believe that if you really want that love, then show that you're interested in the love. Get to know that person. Ask that person about their life. Ask that person what makes them smile, what makes them sad. Talk, when you see someone feeling a certain way, then try and comfort them. It doesn't even have to be for selfish or personal gain. It could be to just try and uplift someone. They may come to your attention and be like, "Wow, that's someone different. That's something different. I haven't had that before. Let me approach that in a more intriguing way and communicate more." For me, this is what I believe what happens, but I'm not the all knower. I don't have the answers, but I believe that my perspective is one that will hopefully progress the younger generation into a more positive notion. So, Aaron, what you got to say, brother?
Like I said, it was a tricky one because you have to put yourself in the mind of, like if how would what girls can do to avoid getting approached by men like that. But I'd have to put myself in the head of one of those men, so that's why it's quite tricky. So if I'm whether it's a club or walking down the street or so, like I said, I usually mind my own business anyhow, and if I were to, if you're a woman, like you said, you don't really want to attract any attention. I mean, myself, if I'm walking down the street and it's dark at night, like if I do see a woman and she looks, she might not look uncomfortable, but I kind of do it in a way where I like I'm not interested. I mean, like in the way I walk, as in like I'll give you the impression that I have no interest. I'm going to my destination, so I might walk quicker to like the pavement side or something. In a way, it's like as if I'm trying to run away almost. Does that make sense? Like I don't want to be here. I give off
It's
that
hard to
impression
approach
as
someone
well.
nowadays, isn't it, on the streets?
I do that. I'm not here to hurt you. That sort of thing. And it's quite funny because please do not take this in the wrong way or anything. I'm just saying this. So when I walk, I love animals, you see. Sometimes I might see a fox on the road or something. I know the fox is going to get scared of me, so I deliberately try to walk around it just to make it feel a bit safer, the reason why I'm saying don't get offended, because I don't want anyone to think, oh, hang on, wait, are you comparing women to ants? No, do not get that message at all. What I'm trying to say
To
is
me,
for
it sounds like
anyone,
you're being empathetic more there,
yeah, for anyone, anyone who'd feel, I know that would feel intimidated, because you have to remember, I am a 6'2" black man. Again, I don't want to bring color into it, but when it's 10:30 at night and there is a tall figure as myself, I am quite a big lad, walking down the street at that time of night, and you have no idea who I am. You're not meant to. You don't know I'm a nice guy. Like, how do you know that? You know what I mean? Like, what evidence have you got to support that? All you see is a very tall man, a very tall stature, walking that time of night. I might be wearing a hood. I'm wearing a hat. You might not be able to see my face. You cannot, you're only going from what you can see. And, that sort of figure walking at that time of night, I want to give you the impression that I ain't here to hurt you. Like I said, I'm just being empathetic, If I know that someone might get intimidated, hell, even if it's like a kid, like a boy or a small guy, a man, anyone could just be intimidated by me. I'm not big of myself up here, you know what I mean? But like, it's just that case. I want to give you the impression, I'm not about that life. I'm just minding my own business. I'm getting along,
I hear you. Right.
So you got next question?
All right, brother, let's go.
The only way I feel that women could stop living with the fear or the timidness, or whether it's a small case of it or a extreme case of it, the only way that will go away for women in the future or present is if the people that give them the reason for them to fear, for them to be timid, for them to act in such a way to be paranoid, would stop doing all the evil shit that they do for them to make them feel that way. So it's cause and effect, right? The only reason why they do fear or feel the way that they feel is because there's things were done to them over time, like since the inception of this of humanity. I can feel like that's always been a thing, and people just need to just get fucking on board and just act right.
Yeah, respect to that, man. I'm gonna say we're gonna go through these messages, try and answer them as quick as we can because we're gonna wrap up soon. But I just want to add on a notion. Yeah, from like if we have female listeners listening in, even if we have male listeners, whatever listeners
For
we have
future
listening in,
reference, yeah.
yeah, for everyone listening in, thank you for listening. Also, I want to say that a few previous comments a few previous comments ago we had a comment talking about genital size, right? We had a comment talk about genitalia when none of this was about that, right? That can grow someone out. That's behavior that doesn't need to be heard. Now,
Prime example.
I'm not trying to diss anyone. I don't need to name names, but that's how do you unite as one when such illogical things come to mind, you know, when someone states such things that have no relevance in the matter whatsoever. So things like that could be changed, you know.
I
That's what I
completely
believe
agree
anyway.
with you there. I completely agree.
Thank you. Let's go to the next message anyway.
It's like that rationale where it's like women has to abide by the, or like try to be very cautious when going out with, like, don't do this, or like don't wear this, or blah blah blah, because that'll attract certain individuals that might go into a negative confrontation where unfortunately might end up in an attack or a rape. Where the social idea is like we teach women to act in this way, but rather than that,
Mm,
how about we just teach the men, like, yo, don't fucking rape, don't, be more respective, or I mean respectful towards women, and that will eliminate the reason for them to fear.
mm,
You can
yeah.
only educate a man so much.
Mm,
I've had it many times where I've known people that have had the best upbringing you could possibly have. You know, both parents there in their life. Would say, you know, they're comfortable as in money. Well, I wouldn't say that, but you know, they managed to be able to afford, you know, food on the table, etc. You know, get by. You know, just like a normal person. Both parents there, you know, affordable. I'd say somewhat affordable, and yet they would actually end up in gangs. You know what I mean? To the stage where police are taking
mm,
them home, getting into drugs and stuff. You know, really bad stuff. And you know, it's not like they've been led in the wrong way and stuff. I mean, yeah, influence, and that's exactly the point. Influence. You know, like they've been
mm,
raised the right way as possible. Well, that person's parents did everything right. You know what I mean? You know,
mm,
but they obviously
true.
chose to do that lifestyle. They learned obviously afterwards that it is completely wrong, and that's what I respect so much. They knew that was bad, and they didn't want anything to do about that life, and they don't respect anyone who does that sort of life. You know what I mean?
Mm,
So you can only educate people so much. You know, you could teach your
true.
children this, and it's their choice to use the knowledge. You know, it's like some people say, you know, the world began with a big bang. Some people say, you know, God created the universe. You know, it's your choice.
Mm,
You've got all the information provided. It's your choice to, you know, what you feel is right and wrong. And like you said, the villains sometimes think they're the heroes, and then the heroes think, you know, vice versa. So it's what your
mm.
mind tells you. You can educate someone the right way, but then that person, it just might not just get through to them. What their right might be wrong, you know. So it's a very sticky one right there, honestly.
True, but why should women have to worry about how they dress? You know what I mean? I mean,
They
if
shouldn't.
men can go if men can go topless on a beach, why can't women?
Why
Yes,
can't
yes,
women?
they have boobs, but uh, don't we all have breasts? It's in the
Yeah,
scientific term of biology,
100%.
men and women have breasts. Just because it's on a larger scale on women, you have to realize that how can you sexualize the woman's body in the sense of breasts? I mean, they're used to feed children. That's what they use
Exactly.
to create milk and feed children. Why should a woman have to feel uncomfortable just because they have these properties on their body? Now, I know some people may seem to think it's disrespectful to say properties, but a part of their body, you know what I mean? To have a certain complexion about themselves where people have to deem it, you have to dress a certain way because that's how this is how your body's perceived. When really it's their body, how they perceive it is how they get to control it. We shouldn't have to tell people what they eat or how they act or how they dress. That's not for us to tell people what to do. As long as they're living in a positive mindset of not disturbing anyone else's peace, then why should you be affected by it? You know what I mean? So, Aaron, if you don't have
Can I add
anything
something
to
there
add, let's go to.
quickly? Can you
Go
believe?
ahead,
I
go
don't know
ahead,
if you
brother.
heard the story. I think it was in Wales. So you might have heard it. A woman was breastfeeding her child on the bus, and someone
Mm.
got offended. And I think eventually she had to get kicked out of the bus.
What?
Yeah,
I
I
need to
don't know if you
search
ever
this
heard
up.
about it. I think it was in Wales.
If you could send me the link later, I would much appreciate that. Thank
Yeah,
you, brother.
just a food for
Let's go to
thought.
the next message. That's madness, though.
Native, you know your hip hop history. 1520 Sedgwick in the Bronx. That's where it started.
Yeah, DJ Hurt. Yeah, it's Vibe Rock. Thank you, brother. Thank you. Yeah, man. Vibe. That's what's up. Cause DJ Herc, man. That's where it all started, isn't it? In the Bronx. Was it the Bronx or Queens? Somewhere around
Bronx, New York.
around.
Yeah.
Nah, he knows. But man, that's where real hip hop was living. But I love to listen to artists like Black Star, Common. He always common sense. He always talks about like the um the woman's perspective. If God was a woman, would I be treating her this way? Would I be disrespecting her and all that? You know what I mean? That music, that's what speaks to the whole generation or the whole world in a retrospect, to be like, yeah, what if God was a woman? Why should we perceive God as a man? What if God was a woman? Because a woman is creator of all life, right?
Yeah,
Birth to
exactly,
life.
right?
So if God was a woman, would we be disrespecting her or treating such a way? You know what I mean? So yeah, I respect that. I love music because music does have such a great influence on people. So whatever you listen to, whatever you're listening to, putting in your body, that's a diet system. So if you're listening to music that's just derogatory to people of all kinds or any kinds, then are you going to take that notion on? Are you going to take that perspective on? I don't know. But for me, I love to listen to classical music that just speaks a beautiful fluidity of momentum when it comes to, collecting as one, a symphony, you know what I mean? Not something that's talk about brackets, just slashing someone off for derogatory terms. So, Aaron, if you don't have anything to add, let's play
I
that
want to make a
message
note
for.
about the men and women there. Say how you said how, like, if God was a woman, would we treat women better? Women rule and stuff. I
Mm,
find to an extent how men always say, obviously, men are stronger than women. That's why they're more dominant and stuff. Yes, we know there
mm,
are some women. Well, there are a lot of women that are stronger than men, but you got to realize
mm.
you got to realize female and male. So within the human race, the majority of men, would you could argue the men are the stronger counterpart. Whereas if you go in the
In a
animal
physical
kingdom,
sense.
there's many animals where the female counterpart is way stronger than the men. So it
True,
just so
true.
happens that obviously with humans, you can argue that the men are the stronger counterpart. But in
Mm.
general of the female, you know what I mean? That doesn't mean, oh, girls are weak, females are weak. Like you said, I think people have that messed up, just think, oh, could the men are stronger, therefore they're the more dominant. But women are, they
Women
give
are
up
the
life.
one that hold the life in their body for 9 months
Yeah,
or a little bit more
exactly.
and birth them, you know what I mean? And still able to take care of them for
Yeah,
how long they do.
give birth
So
to a human being.
yeah. So men may be stronger in a physical sense. I don't believe that all generally round, because there are some women out there who could even bench press me, and I'm
Obviously,
a
yeah.
heavy guy. I'm over 100 kilograms. But in a sense of emotional or spiritual strength, I believe we're all equal in a sense. But women do birth life. I just want to put that out there. So let's get to the next message, Aaron. Should we?
Ego is one of the most problematic emotion or feeling or whatever that is in us that essentially could most more times than not is a person's downfall. People that project all these other negative energy upon others because they can't take a no, most likely, more often than not, have a hard time looking at the mirror at themselves because that's all
Mm,
insecurity shit that they can't, that's a them problem. Like they have to
right, right.
figure themselves out because they can't like who they are. They have to,
Mm,
try to be the person to get everybody to like them for the wrong
mm.
reasons, or not like the wrong reasons, but more for just the acceptance, and a no could turn into a volatile situation, as I've stated before.
Respect. That's what I'm trying to say when it comes to self-education. It starts with oneself. Aaron?
That's I was gonna let you take that point, but 100% I agree with that. Obviously, these guys
Mm,
look in the mirror, they're not impressed. They might even doubt themselves, and then obviously come strong when it comes to seeing people in person. I've met many
mm.
people like that, and I completely agree with you.
All right. Righteous, man.
So my mom got divorced from my dad, who was just fucking a bad person, and
Sorry
she
to hear that,
linked
brother.
up with a domestic partner, was a woman, and
Okay.
I was raised on that. her domestic partner has a brother who is who's homosexual, and
Mm.
I didn't see anything wrong with it. And that's the thing is like
Mm.
you gotta
Righteous.
teach from the very get to impressionable young youth that this is wrong. The way that
Mm.
people treat other people in such horrendous ways, that just be good to people because they're good to you. That's it.
Mm.
There's no like I never saw any difference, but when seeing all this evil shit that happens to like the gay community, it's like they're getting killed and they're committing suicides themselves because of all that's happening to them.
Yeah, it's not right.
Oh man. Something needs to change, and that's what we're talking about, man. Vibe Rock, thank you for sharing some of your history with us, some of your personal information. We respect you for that, man, and
I
God
appreciate
bless your
that,
mother for
honestly.
finding peace within herself. And you know what I mean. I hope your mother's partner's brother as well. And yeah, man, that's why we're doing this, brother. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you for sharing some positive notion, man. Let's go to the next message. If Aaron doesn't have anything to add on,
That is all, my friend. Next message.
respect.
In all, like I'm a big subscriber to a small ripple in the ocean has potential to turn into a tsunami wave. It's the little things
Right,
that need to
right.
change. Like for instance, I still hear people call tank tops wife beaters,
Mm.
and they say it
So
without
strange, isn't it?
like hesitation, not even given the
Mm.
fact that they just said this thing is a wife beater for whatever reason. It's called a wife beater because the stereotype is trailer park, you know males or whatever were only wearing these tank tops as they unfortunately domestically abuse their partners. But that's the been a cultural or like a societal thing to call a tank top a wife beater, and nobody bats an eye most of the time. I have to call like, yo, that's a problematic term. Get rid of that.
Mm. True, true. Words have a serious effect, man. We need to word play ourselves. Well, word play our vocabulary better when it comes to such things. I just call it a vest, in all fairness.
Don't
But
judge a
yeah,
book
I
by its
understand what
cover.
you're saying. Amen, man. Let's go to
Yeah,
the
do
next
not.
message.
I feel the passion that you're speaking on, native. To spread the love, though,
Respect,
that
brother.
person gotta find it in themselves to love themselves first. I'm
Mm.
an
Hundred
MC,
percent.
and I recently wrote this bar. I was like, we all want to be noticed, ain't that the truth? But let's focus in and poke our skins to find out what is true. Nothing real is in plain view. You've got to dig a little deeper through the pictures and the filters to find what's underneath us. Like, it
Ooh,
starts with you,
diamonds,
like the
brother.
person you wake up
Yeah,
with every morning, the
within.
person you see every day in the mirror, the person that you have to live with because if like you can't give love without loving yourself first. And I believe
Yeah,
that
100%.
wholeheartedly. Like, how could you give love when you don't have any capacity of loving yourself first? Like, you can't have no idea what true like positivity is or love to give it if you ain't
Mm.
got it yourself to know what it is.
Righteous, but I hear what you're saying, man. Love is below and above and all around, like seeds as they're planted in the ground. Within the seed of kin and trees of ancestry and royalty. So love comes within, man. To project that out is to be loving, man. So yeah, it does start with oneself. Aaron?
I 100% agree with that. I mean, I even struggle with that sometimes. Sometimes I have self doubt. Not loving myself. But yeah, you need to love yourself before you can love one another. It's
Mm.
key. I completely agree with that, honestly, and it's
And
good to
it's
share
important to have that loving, those loving people around you, right?
that.
To pick you up when you're feeling down, man. Respect to that. Thank you, Vibe Rock. That was a beautifully stated notion, man. Respect to that, brother.
Yo, and when you were describing like you being a 6 foot black man walking down the street, how it could be intimidating. Like, yo, you just described what happened to Trayvon Martin, and that's
Oh,
fucked up.
true.
Like,
Oh yes.
we do have our initial fears of like because of our whether our fight or flight mechanism, but it's like, yo, you don't really know what really is what it really is until it's like exposed. So like being aware and cautious is not is a good thing, but being like aware and cautious with a preconceived or having this stereotype or like just mindset of like that person is gonna do wrong to me because he is that or she is that, you know, that's the shit that's like the little that I want to say little, but those are the things that need to like turn around.
I completely agree with you. However, that is the situation. Yeah, it needs to turn around. Hence why I stated the point. Like, I might be minding my own business, but how I've been portrayed, or people like me have been portrayed before in the past, doesn't give a good message. So that's why when I'm walking, I try to give that message to people that, I'm not here to hurt you or do anything. I'm just minding my own business, doing me, and that's the sort of society we're in now. You get portrayed certain things, and certain girls, just even seeing guys walking down the street, no matter black or white, or I don't think with girls, I don't think it comes to color and that sort of perspective. I think it's just a case of intimidated by a man, in the dark at night, or even during the day, any time of the day. You got anything to add with that, Moses?
Yeah, I agree, man. But I'll listen to the next message.
Yeah, sure.
And I totally agree with you, man. You can only teach a person so much. Well, and with that said, is like if that was the overall ideology and value and moral of people, then that would influence that type of behavior to a person that probably isn't acting that way. Kind of like being in a gang. Imagine if the gang was like straight up, yo, the gang like not to be sounding like an after school special, but like a gang full of positive people, and they attract a person that was going the wrong path to like, yo, this is a way too. You could act this way and avoid all the hardships that you would probably create for yourself that you could have avoided if you just acted this way. And it's just the overall thought of like having the education or the knowledge, more of that could spread more and be conducive.
Should we go on to the next one? I think he still was carrying on.
Yeah, I think it was Karen.
This is my last message. I know you guys are winding down, but thank you for having this platform again. I'm
No,
tuning
thank you,
back in
Join us,
with
Barbara.
you
right, bro?
guys. You guys are fucking solid individuals, and
Respect.
the type of people that you run into, strangers that, like, yo, gives hope for humanity, knowing that people like y'all exist and
God
shit.
bless,
So
brother.
I'm definitely excited because see you guys. I'm a big MMA fan of myself. I'm like
Hey,
long time,
Hey,
yeah, man.
early like Pride, uh, fucking horse
Yeah.
racing type cloth. I'm cut from.
I used
So
to love that
yeah, I'm
previous
tuning
show.
into you guys. Thank you again, and keep spreading the fucking word because it seems like nobody else is on this app and doing it.
Thank you very much,
Uh,
Barbara. Well appreciated.
vibe.
Also, follow Will Kick MMA, our third partner.
Yeah,
He does the MMA talk show as well, so be sure to give him a
and you
follow as
too,
well.
and you too.
And
Yeah, man.
myself, of
Vibe, bro.
course, yes.
It's a blessing to have such a being join us and share such a positive notion. You know what I mean? We're being educated here and we're sharing. And yeah, you're a homie, man. Join us, join us. We'll be on every Wednesday, every Saturday with a multicast, man. We're here for the people's needs and to progress with the people. You know what I mean? We're building a better
100.
community, and hopefully we can inspire to get such a mindset on such a station. You know what I mean? It's a growing station as we see, and we're growing people. So let's get to the next message. If Aaron, you don't have anything to add,
No, we'll go to the next message.
Oh
bless,
man,
brother.
Carmen's a legend, and he does like yo, he does promote
Yeah,
and
man.
send out the message of like respect and more like if yo the light if heaven had a height you would be that tall like come on,
Mm,
and that's the type of shit. And the unfortunate and the fucking thing about it is that's shit's like pushed aside and seen as like simpy, corny, whack, whatever. But it's like,
mm,
how is that whack or like how is like the notion of like saying that type of shit is corny or simpy or soft like how like why like you would have to be incredibly strong minded person and a strong individual to even develop these type of emotions to get there to say that in the open space. So yeah,
true.
shit is ass backwards.
Vibe rock, yeah, man. You know your music, man. And that's what I'm calling music because truly to speak like that, speak about the people, the people's struggles and trying to project them from it, you know what I mean? That's what to me is true music, you know what I mean? It's sharing your individual struggle and understanding the people's struggle and trying to build from that as one, you know? And yeah, man, thank you for sharing that. I respect
Yeah,
that,
you
bro.
got to hit me up. Who was that guy called Common?
Common, yeah, I
Common.
send you a few links.
Yes,
He has
please.
a awesome song with Mary Jane where he's singing a beautiful it's basically a sonnet, you know what I mean, like a love poet to this his other half that he has struggles with, and the melody, man, it's touching. He speaks on inequality within the black community too. He has a song with I think it's Bilal, where it's called Freedom, and it's like freedom, freedom comes, here we come. You know what I mean? It's just like music like that, man. It speaks to the heart. So let's go to the
Yeah, I
next
like
message.
that.
If I, you got,
Yeah,
I'll send you a
hit it
few
up.
links, brother.
Hit it up.
Yeah, man.
Lionesses, for example.
Oh,
Yeah,
lioness.
lionesses. They control the animal kingdom. Yeah,
Yeah,
lionesses. They. I think the lionesses go hunting while the males look after the children because they do
there
it,
you
man.
go. There
Yeah,
you go, man.
thank you, Aisha, for tuning in. If I said that
Thank
right,
you
if I
very
didn't,
much.
please correct me. But thank you for tuning in. God bless. Let's go to the next message, Aaron.
Are men
Du-du-du.
stronger though? Because women can take a lot more pain, so
Mm.
Yeah, like Moses, you was just covering that, weren't you?
Yeah, when it comes, not just when it comes to birthing a child and pregnancy and such, but women are powerful leaders. I mean, when you look at the African kingdom, when they had female leaders, in the southern ends, even they had a female queen. I can't quote her name, so please forgive me on that. But yeah, what's the kingdom called, man? Either way, they were south bordering Egypt, and they defeated Egypt when it was ruled by Romans, and there was a Roman general who couldn't defeat the queen, and she had one eye, mind you, because she went into battle with her warriors, and she made sure they were well looked after. Even Kenya, they had a tribe of women warriors who were the most well, thought of as the most elite. So when we look at it, women aren't less stronger than men. That's not what we're
That's
trying
why I
to
said
say. But
arguably.
science, yeah,
Yeah,
science has told us that physically men are stronger. But when it comes to it, the physical is far less than the mental, the emotional, the spiritual. So we're not down on women when it comes to any sort of strength. It's just what science has told us. As we said, you know what I mean. We've been given a pre-notion, a
yeah,
pre-package of education, but we're trying to come away from that. Where we're trying to understand each other more and see that as each individual we're stronger when we come together, we're stronger as a person, how we perceive our beliefs and how we perceive our notions. So Aisha, thank you for tuning in and also sharing that notion with us and getting us to question more on that perspective. So yeah, Aaron.
yeah, exactly. That's why I said arguably, because again, I have no right to
Mm,
say men are the stronger humans. I have no right to say that at all. And I don't know what history says. Like you said, science has only proven that males might be physically stronger. But does that mean if you're physically stronger, does it mean they're overall stronger? So, for example, if you put this to a context of a fight, you've seen many times where a big dude goes up against a David versus Goliath sort of scenario. Like
mm,
doesn't necessarily mean because the person who's got more physical power does
true.
technically wins. You know what I mean? The person who
Mm,
could take a hit, you know what I mean? Like the person who could take a hit, keep going, who's stronger mentally. Like I said, women go through, they can take a lot of pain. They go through pain. They're
yeah,
stronger, they're smarter, and overall, you're right. They may be the stronger counterpart, This is, again, why I said
yeah.
arguably, because I don't have the right to say which one's stronger than the other. I don't know what history and science has come to the conclusion of that, but
Mm,
that's why I said arguably, but I do know for a fact, and animal kingdoms and any other races that females, that the female counterparts are stronger. Fact, you
right.
know.
I just want to add something also, Aisha. from a personal perspective, and also experience, my mother is stronger than my father in every aspect of the
There
idea
you
of
go.
strength. And I'm not trying to down my father, but my mum raised 3 children on her own, and she gave us all the love she could, and that woman is strength when it comes to the idea of strength. Same for my wife, you know what I mean? So when it comes to the gender role of being strong, I see women as stronger because of my personal perspective and my personal, well, due to my personal experiences. So if anyone has a different perspective, then fair one to them. But when it comes to it, I see strength is what comes from inside. You know what I mean? What rules the heart, and to see how women have controlled their environment around me, and how they've always uplifted me when, my some of my male adversaries couldn't, you know what I mean, my brothers couldn't. Not saying that they couldn't, but it's just they have that strength, that love, that just nurtures you in the way that's
Yeah.
needed, you know what I mean? So yeah, thank you for tuning in, people, and we'll go to the next message. We're going to wrap up soon, but everyone who tuned in, thank you, and we'll be on every Wednesday and Saturday, so just give us a follow. We'll kick MMA also. We're just trying to share a positive notion. Aaron?
Thank you. And we can go to the next message.
There is a light that shines,
Hey,
destined for you and me.
Sing it, sister.
lovely
Yes, sir.
vibe in there.
And that's righteous, yeah.
Strength is subjective, right? Like you could be physically strong, you could be emotionally strong, mentally
Exactly.
strong. Yes, like our genetics and our biological makeup, men are structurally built, for the most part, more, I guess, sturdier, or like to more solid, and women are on a smaller frame. But that has nothing to do with strength as overall,
Yeah.
like what you see a person that has strength in. Like, sure, you can lift a boulder up and put it on your shoulder, but can you fucking have the strength to inspire a revolution, like
Yeah.
some women in the Black Panthers did.
Hey,
Yeah, man. Yeah. Even in the
that's
Rastafarian
movement.
community, women are uplifted. I mean, they're literally they're the inspiration of this. So you just go see in certain communities, women are the strength. The mother is the heart of the family. You know what I mean? And I believe that when it comes to it systemically, women have always been pushed into doing domestic. Well, not always, but in certain societies and certain communities, women have always been pushed to do these domestic tasks when men have been going out and lifting. You know what I mean? So give the women a chance, and I'm telling you, they'll do probably a far better job. We don't know, but at the end of the day, look how many women who are allowed to work nowadays who are doing amazing. You know what I mean? It's just that systemic agenda where women are like flowers, and yeah, they are delicate, yeah, they're beautiful and they're blossoming, but at the same time, they're fucking strong. When they go raw, man, they open doors. So, Aaron, what do you got to say before we go to the
Well,
next
I
message,
gotta
brother?
say, women are strong. I mean, right now I have a roof over my head because of my mother. I do help her pay
God
towards the
bless.
mortgage, but she has kept this roof on her own for the past 5 years or so. My dad chose to retire because he wanted to retire. Financially, we couldn't afford
Mm,
it, and it wasn't fair because my mum said we can't afford it. My dad was trying to say, "Oh, why don't you retire and we move elsewhere, get a cheaper house?" And
mm,
mum said no. She wants to persevere. She likes where we are. You know what I mean? My dad didn't support her in that choice. I'm not slagging off my dad, but it's the truth. He didn't support her in the matter, and I mean, I'm
mm,
not like again. It's true. He's not gonna deny. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
he's been in the Caribbean since August. Yes, COVID hasn't helped, but there were times where he could have came back earlier because he has
Mm.
business of his own down there. But at the same time, like my mum and myself
Is a
has
queen.
been living down here. She's been keeping the roof. Bear in
Mm,
mind, my mum hasn't worked because she's been shielding. So can you see now how she's keeping this house over her head? She's also done
mm,
decorating to this house. So my mum is a role model you know, in herself, you know. But from a young age, like when I was born, I triggered her lupus. For me being born, that's how we was able to tell she had lupus. She had a kidney transplant in 2006. I was scared. I thought she was going to die. And then in 2010, she had breast cancer. You know, it's just like illness after illness after illness. My mom's always been ill and always rose from it. The amount of times I thought my mom was going to die in this life, and this is probably why I have that fear of her when I said when she goes places and stuff. Because you know she's accident prone. Bad things always sort of happen. You know, but in the end, she always rises from it, and that's the truth. She always does rise from it.
Respect to Mama Dove. She is a G. I love your mom, man. How she just rock out to reggae. That's dope, man. Respect, man. Thank you for sharing that, Aaron. That's dope. And respect to you, man. You're a man. You know what I mean. You're doing your duties to look after your loved ones, your mother, and you're an awesome son from doing that, man.
Thank you.
I feel you, man. That's how it is. You know what I mean. Your mom gives you life, and the least you could do is look after, and that's how it goes. How I feel, anyway, within my own personal experiences. You know what I mean. When I was in a down state, you know, I would say somewhat depressed. You know what I mean. I was depressed, in all fairness, but I knew my struggles. Thank you, bro. But in all fairness, I'm glad because it got me to look past my own struggles. And see that other people's struggles are greater than mine. You know what I mean? And I had to work in order to provide to help my mother and my brother. And I'm glad that I overcame that. And my mom gave me that strength and insight to do so. And you know what I mean? That's one way of many I can show respect and love to my mom. And you're doing that, Aaron, and love to you, man. God bless you, brother. And all the people who are looking after their families, their loved ones, even themselves, you know what I mean? It's not an easy time, especially when we have to self-isolate and keep ourselves away from certain places that gives us positive enhancements and such. But for the people out there who are struggling, keeping on, God bless you, man. And I hope God bless you, people, and I hope you keep on. And yeah, let's go to the next message if you don't have anything to add.
That was the song with Common and Mary J. Blige, by the way. It's called The Light.
Yeah,
The Light.
Yeah, The Light. That's the one. Yo, you sang it better. I remember that was cool, man.
Need to hit that up.
I'll send you the link, man. It is a dope track, but there's so many of Common, even Mary J. Blige, in all fairness. You know what I mean? There's just beautiful tracks. Beautiful. Let's go to the next message.
Just put it simply, like, you could be like Arnold Schwarzenegger strong, or you could be like Anne Frank strong.
Hey, isn't it?
All across the board.
Isn't it?
That's true, man. Strength comes in all different, you know, size, shape, you know. It's what is the definition of strength, you know? It's like let's say you get 5 girls versus 5 men, and they want to take over a house. You know, you've got to think strategy here. Let's say the 5 men are stronger in power. Okay, let's say 4 out of the 5 men are stronger in power, and you know the girls know. Hang on, they outclass us in strength. They're gonna have to think tactic. Girls are probably, you know, naturally smarter. They will take over the house. Therefore, you know, they are the superiors. You know, again, like I said, how wars are won and stuff. It's a strategy.
But you can even be Rosa Parks strong. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Man. So yeah, thank you, Rob, for sharing that. Let's go to the next message.
Cool.
Just a personal story. Show how, like, one of the strongest people I know is my mother, because during the 2008
big up to your mom.
Fucking economic crash here in America, our house went up to fucking foreclosure twice, and she just hustled, and I was like, yo, why don't we just move to smaller, you know, living situation? And she said this straight up: I came to America to achieve this.
Wow.
Say no more.
Respect.
Wow.
Strongest person I know. Hands
down.
Respect.
That is big respect to your mum.
Yeah, respect to your mum. Hey, tell your mum the Multicast loves her. And hey, just for a question, where do you come from, brother? We are gonna close up soon, so if you don't get to send a message and to let us know, please join us on the next show. And yeah, we'd love to know, man. Thank you for joining us, man. You're part of the Multicast, bro. Also, to the people who joined us, we'll go to the next message after Aaron's added his bit on, because like
I said, that's a big role model. Even hearing from that, honestly, big up to your mum. respect to that. You
Yeah,
know,
man.
she stuck to what she said. That is what you call true strength. That, you know what I mean? Just like a bit like Moses said, no disrespect to your dad. Like you said, your mum is stronger than your dad. You know, and that is
Yeah.
what you call true power and true strength. And
She
I
worked, man.
absolutely rate that. Honestly, well done, man.
Yeah.
And
I
we've
will.
got 2 more messages. Oh, sorry.
Before we go, I will share to add on with Vibe Rock, to share a personal story to add on with yours, to show respect to the mothers and the women out there. My mom, she moved us from a council house, which is in America is known as projects basically, and she just worked, always working. You know what I mean? Made sure we had people to look after us and close friends, family friends, and such. And she made sure that we moved to a more upcoming neighborhood, so we could be in a catchment area for a school and have a better education, so we could live around people that we could aspire not to be like, but to get to that situation. In all fairness, we made great friends from that, and people with great wealth, not just financially but also spiritual. As people, they were wealthy people, as you would see, brothers and sisters. They were beautiful people, and they invited us into our homes, me and my brothers, and we learned a lot from them. You know what I mean? So, and that's all because of my mom. She took us to, we got to travel around the country and go to different places because we got to include ourselves in a bigger and more loving community. And I'll always be grateful towards my mum for that. You know what I mean? To just see how hard she worked
100%.
for her loved ones. She put her own needs. It was no, in all fairness, that's her love. You know what I mean? For her
Big
children.
up, Mrs.
To
Jolly.
see. Yeah, God bless, brother, and big up your mum, and same with Vibe Rock and all the mums out there. You know what I mean? To ones who listening, same to my wife. She looking after our children. We both do, but the way she does, man, to see how she raised these two beautiful beings, and you know what I mean. The work she puts in is
100%
just
you.
it's miraculous. You know what I mean? It's just majestic, and it inspires me in so many ways, shape, or form. I don't think she understands how much I do just out of love and inspiration from her. So God bless all the mothers out there
Wonderful.
and all the fathers. You know what I mean? I'm not being not just because I'm a father, but but the ones. But you got to look after your
Single
loved ones
dads,
because
innit? Yeah.
yeah. Nah, I ain't single.
No, no.
But as I was saying, but as we were saying before, it's about we got to educate a generation, a future generation, and to raise your little ones. You're picking them to be better human beings in society. That's what it's about, isn't it? So yeah, and if you don't have anything to add on, hit that
No,
button,
I've
boy.
said all what I've had to say in that point. Just gonna say we've got 3 more
Respect.
messages, guys. We'll just take these 3 more
Yes, sir.
messages and we'll wind down from there.
All right.
I may be wrong, but the song you're probably talking about with Mary J. Blige is the one with Method Man, probably. Uh, you're raw, on like, shorty, I'm there for
Ah,
you
yeah.
anytime you need me. For real, girl, love me in your world. Believe me, nothing make a man feel better than the woman. Because I think the light doesn't have a female singer on it. In the video, he has Erica Badu, who he was dating, Common. But I think the song you're talking about is "You're All I Need" with Method Man and Mary J. Blige.
I am familiar with the track "You're All I Need" with Method Man and Mary J. Blige. But no, I was actually talking about Mary J. Blige when I'm not. Nah, the light is a different track, but yeah, I'll get it. I'll get it up, Aaron. If you want to add anything or play the next
I'd say
message,
you're
I'll
the
just get the
lyrical
track up.
master into this. I'm learning from
Lyrical
you
when I
guys.
promote. Oh, okay. Yeah, let's play the next message then, brother.
I hail from San Francisco, California, the Bay Area in
Irie,
U.S.
respect. We
West
go.
Coast, baby. Yeet.
Hey.
Yeah, I come from the southwest. Now the song. Hey, sorry to interrupt, but the song is "Come Close." Come close. I love this track, man. It's beautiful. But yeah, South, South California. Do you say? Aaron?
Yeah, West Coast.
West Coast classics. I love West Coast classics. They got a vibey beat to them, man. No fairness. Yeah. So all right, we'll play the next message, and then see
Yeah,
what's
let's hit
cracking.
that. Yeah, let's hit it.
Yo, shout out to y'all for sending love to my moms. Yo, like, for full transparency, like, the only reason I'm alive right now is because of her. And I'm not, like, because she birthed me. Real quick, like, I'm supposed to be a middle child. But my
Mm.
father, the first pregnancy, made her get an abortion.
Oh my
And
gosh.
for me,
Oh,
he wanted to abort me too, but
sorry,
she
man.
fought for it. Like, no,
What
I'm having this child regardless of whatever you say. And the third one, he
respect?
stressed her out to the point where she had a miscarriage. So, like, when I say the only reason why I'm alive is because of her, is like literally because she like held me down
That's
for
respect.
and kept me and made sure that I was born. So, yeah. Shout out to all the
Bless,
mothers,
man.
man.
Bless
God
him.
damn.
Swear.
Respect.
Yo, that story that does remind me of Common's song, "The Light," because he's talking about. I'm sure that's the song where he's talking, the track where he's talking about how, yeah, Erica Badu's pregnant with his child, and he's talking about how if I had a son and I would raise him, would I raise him like my father raised me? That type of vibe. And he was talking about abortion, and he just came to at the end. He was just like, "Nah, let's do this. We having a child." You know what I mean? I took part in the act, and you know what I mean. The blessing of having a child is just to just cast it out so quickly. I'm sorry to hear that, Vibe Rock, and I'm glad that you're here, man. That's your mom. Your
Yeah,
mom,
glad you made
she went
this.
with God with that one. That's a blessing, bro.
Your mum's choice made this podcast happen. And think about it. If you weren't in this show,
Mm,
we wouldn't be asking your question. You know, you got to think
true,
of it that way. Her
isn't it?
actions has led to what this has happened right now. I woke up
Righteous.
today, got out of bed, went to work. Since I came in work, gone
Mm,
and done these 2 podcasts, and you've come on this show. Remember that your mum is a powerful. Your mum has made this moment happen.
Truth. True,
That is
innit?
powerful.
In a retrospect, she did. Yo, I'm gonna play that common come close with Mary J. Blige as we're signing out. No copyright or anything like that, but just to share some notion with the people.
Wonderful.
Yeah, this is the multicast. You people being a blessing. Vibe Rock, Aisha, Double Trouble, my beautiful bubble signing in. Thank you everyone who shared a positive
Thank you.
notion. And this is the multicast.
Thank you. And
Myself,
Moses,
yes, brother.
I just want to say thank you very much for talking with this subject to me today. I know it's a very deep talk, but I feel like it was a talk that was needed.
Truth. It was, and I'm glad that we had this. I'm glad that we went with it. I know we were a bit cautious because we thought, whoa, it's going to be heavy because some people may take it the wrong way, but I think we did it some justice. You know what I mean? Did ourselves some justice. I learned a bit from it, and I feel enlightened due to this. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
I'm really
I'm
glad
really
with it. I really wanted this talk to happen, and I'm glad we all did. I'm glad we came across this idea,
yeah
and it's been brilliant.
blessed to have done this, man. Thank you, Aaron. Thank you, everyone who tuned in. Thank you, everyone who was listening, everyone who took some from it. And yeah, tune in every Wednesday and Saturday. We'll be here, the multicast, from a woman's perspective. That's what we're at today, all right? Let's think about the people who don't feel safe in the community, the people who deserve to, at least. Everyone deserves to, you know what I mean? So, yeah, let's just try and if we take something away from this, let's be multicast and unite as one, you know what I mean? Just try and uplift people with a positive notion. And yeah, let's keep it real. God bless people. Much love, and we hope to see you in the future. Vibe Rock, God bless you, brother. Aisha, Double Trouble, my beautiful bubble. Mr. Aaron Dove, We'll Kick MMA, and myself, the native. We'll see you this Saturday coming. God bless. Peace.
Thank you, guys. Good night or good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Thank you for joining today. Peace out.
Let your love run through. God bless. Peace.